Babble with Ben.
This podcast is recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri peoples of the Kulin Nation. I wish to acknowledge them as traditional owners. I would also like to pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be participating today.
Welcome to the Babble, Alexandra.
Hey, hi everybody.
Thanks for coming on. Now, you've come here, so this is the first time we've met. We sort of got recommended by a friend on Facebook. You put a post out on Melbourne musicians asking, because you are currently living in San Francisco, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's my first time visiting Australia. It's my first time in Brisbane, and I wanted to connect with the local musicians to see what the market is. And I think it's a wasting opportunity if you came somewhere and didn't meet people. So I posted that on Facebook, and your friend recommended me.
It's very good because in Melbourne there's a huge musicians community, and yeah, I think a lot of us are quite willing to collaborate too. So it's very good that you're my first international guest.
Yay!
And we can come in and you can tell us all about yourself. I had a listen to your catalogue during the week here as well, and there's a remix that I really, really liked. I can't remember the name of it.
Still Care For You?
That's the one. Yeah. It was an absolute banger. And so, I guess... you've got this really sort of modern, bright pop vibe. I can see that you really love Lady Gaga and Katy Perry. When did you start this music career?
As a solo independent artist, I would say I started it 3 years ago. But before that, I was part of the band as a rock singer. So I converted my beliefs. I did something what I would never forgive myself 10 years ago. I would be like, oh my God, you switched to pop.
Did you dye your hair blonde then as well?
Yes. So my transition to become blonde was when I realized that I want to go pop. So,
classic, yeah.
But you can see I have some kind of black hair here too. And I recently started mixing pop with a pop punk and pop rock, like experimenting. So I would say something interesting. Some interesting mix of styles always gives this fresh feeling of them. Oh, sorry. I get what I'm trying to say is that when you mix different styles, you have something new and interesting. So I've started experimenting, mixing pop and rock, and it becomes like pop rock. So.
Fantastic. Oh, look, I'm a big believer in as well. I mean, I'm in a punk band called Strawberry Lipstick, but I also do electronic music under my own name. And so they're two different things, but I think the two feed into each other. I also think that my influence, as far as my influences go, right, David Bowie, huge influence of mine, and he was always one to try out new genres. One moment he's doing sort of rock and roll, but then the next moment he's doing drum and bass or ballads. So I really believe that what you're doing is the right thing. You've got to expand your boundaries.
Thank you. I'm trying to find my own unique style. And by the way, about the pop punk and electronics, today I was watching TikTok. I found such an amazing channel. There's a guy who really in love with the pop punk music, and he started doing the techno remixes. Oh my God, it sounds mind blowing. So cool. He took Blink-182, Sum 41, and started making remixes in techno style, and it was amazing.
I think it's easier to do that than ever because I don't know whether you've played with the websites where if you give them a piece of a song, right?
Yeah.
It'll separate out the vocals and the instrumentals. I think people are now able to take songs from the 90s and the 2000s, right, and just extract the vocals of it and then put that into whatever they like. So
this is so cool. I believe there is there are some separated tracks on the internet. You can actually find a cappella vocal parts and even backing voices separately. I could find some of them on internet, on YouTube, for example. So yeah, you can find that. When I do my music production, So I work with my producer. His name is Nick. He lives and works in LA. Every time when we write the song together and he produced it for me, I ask him to give me stems.
Yes.
So then I can use that for remixes.
That's fantastic. Your songs are always massively polished. I'm a big fan, right? And I can see that you're a long way away from being a bedroom producer. You are now you seem like you've got the fully formed team producing these releases now.
Thank you. I normally try to do everything by myself, but when it comes to music, I like to delegate it to professionals because, come on, how many years I can dedicate of learning how to produce, how to mix, how to master? I was like, how about I just work as a musician, make money, and just pay this money to a legit producer who works with this 10, 15 years. He has his all experience. He can make my music sound very well.
Exactly.
And also it helps the industry to grow because, for example, when I make money as a musician, I pay taxes, I pay for a producer, he gets the salary, then he expands and helps other musicians. So we kind of grow market together. So I believe that it's good for everybody. It's very beneficial for him, for me, and for listeners especially.
And it avoids burnout too, because it's very easy for when you are doing, these productions all by yourself. If you're there obsessing over the kick drum and the snare, right, you're never going to get the track finished. So I think it's really good that you've been, working with these professionals.
I am learning so much. I also can say that when I write song all by myself, I don't really like it. First of all, yes, I get burned out. Also, I'm very subjective. I wrote this line, I was like, oh, this is not good enough, and you change it 1,000 times. But when you work with somebody else, they put their creativity there, your creativity. It's kind of, you're taking different talented people, put them together, and you have something very good, very unique, very interesting, and it's worth all money I'm investing into that. And I all songs which I co-write with my producer or my co-writer with lyrics come out really nice. Better than I do them only by myself.
I find the same thing too. I'm working on a new electronic music project as part of a duo. And how it works is that he will send me the elements of the song. It's almost like he sends me the pieces of the jigsaw and then I put them together in a certain way. And it's nice because it's very easy when you are making your own music to second guess yourself. You just go, is this the right word? Is this the right phrase? And then for someone else just to say, yep, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Or it's like something where you think it's okay, but then a friend might go and say, oh, no, I think you could make that better. It's magic. It's magic. It really saves time. And I think it's better to preserve your energy too, just to have a collaborator.
This is true. And also it is so much more creativity. Whenever you play with around those lyrics with your co-writer, you come up with something so special, so unique. And sometimes it's like, oh my God, it's exactly what I wanted to say, right? It's some songwriting magic happens, and it's always you have goosebumps whenever it happens. And after songwriting sessions with my producer and co-writer, we were like, oh my God, that was so good. We connected so deeply to each other. That was really good.
That is the magic, isn't it? Yeah, when you've got that group of like-minded people and you produce something beautiful. It really is quite nice. So what was your producer's name, did you say? Sorry.
My producer's name is Nick Kaufman. He is American with Swiss roots. Switzerland roots. Am I saying correctly?
Yeah.
Sorry, English is not my first language. I'm kind of making sometimes mistakes.
You're doing great.
Thank you. He is American with roots from Switzerland, and my lyric co-writer, is also American, Californian. His name is Vicente, Vinny. We call him Vinny, and he is, I believe, he has Italian roots.
How did you meet them? How did you get the team together?
So I'm very communicative person, and whenever I come to new location, I always try to find people around me. Even if I'm not planning to live there, it's just so good to meet. You never know. Maybe you will hire them remotely, or you will have some interesting collaboration, or you will introduce them to someone, or they will do that for you. And it is very important. I'm not just musician. Independent artist is kind of manager and songwriter,
publicist,
and all together,
videographer,
right?
Yeah.
You do everything in different places, right? And when I came to California, I started looking for people who write songs, who produce songs. it's the same as every country. There are many people who claim they do something, but then you go to their page and see the quality. It's not like kind of very a good feed for me. So I found him, and I immediately, as soon as I heard first track, I was like, oh my God, this is the person I need. So yeah.
That's fantastic. And so you have now been based in California for how long?
3 years.
3 years, wow. And so you are here visiting Australia because you've got a love interest here as well?
My husband is Australian. He's from Brisbane. And right now we are visiting Melbourne. And he's like doing this little advertisements for me like, Alex, see, it is so much nicer here. So he's trying to encourage me to make my mind to move to Australia and particularly Brisbane. Because like, for example, I liked Sydney a lot, but I believe it is like very expensive, and Melbourne is more comfortable for living. This is what I've learned so far. So, my husband is like, oh, this is so nice. Australia is the best. So he's encouraging me.
Well, once you've conquered the world, absolutely. Because California, I think, would be a very good place to make the commercial connections and to build a career as well. Because, I mean, you've got the whole West Coast there that you can go up and down and tour. And then, you've got the whole East Coast over there as well. Like, it seems like it's a much bigger market.
Yeah. California is like center of industry. Yes. Like I live in San Francisco. It is not quite exactly place people go to for achieving musical career goals. They go to Los Angeles, but I'm pretty happy being in San Francisco. San Francisco has amazing local artists, independent musical artists, amazing theater performance. I've been to several music theater, local music theater in San Francisco, and it was amazing. For example, if I went for Broadway show, it was not as good as local. Local was like so much more special, so much more creative. So California has a lot of venues to perform. And if you're building your audience, it's so easy to throw the concert and get connected to people. It is a good place to build your career as an artist.
Well, you've been telling me, so you've had your career as a solo artist now for 3 years now?
As an Sandra, as an like independent pop artist, yes, for 3 years.
And you've put out how many? I know you've got, there's an EP and several singles as well, isn't there?
Yes, so very first EP is called Supergirl.
Oh, yes. Yep.
It has 4 original songs and 1 cover. And after that, I started releasing singles. Because it was my first time when I started releasing everything solo, I realized that throwing the EP is kind of a little bit wasteful. I will explain why. For example, if it is your first work, from one perspective, it's good to have EP. So like you have 4 songs, and if listeners comes to your Spotify, it's not only one single, right? Yep. They can like listen and understand what you do. But at the same time, Spotify algorithms are very tricky, as the same as TikTok, right? They want people be consistent. So it would be easier for me to drop one single every 1.5 months, and then algorithms would recognize me as a artist who is releasing music every like 1.5 months. And I realized that afterwards. When I've learned about this, I was like, okay, next time I'm going to be just releasing singles. So this is what I do. I release, normally I release like 5-6 singles a year. And then my goal is just choose similar singles and like unite them into EP or album.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
It seems to be the way of the world now, because I think when you and I were both growing up, it was... you didn't have streaming, you had to buy a CD, right? And of course, you'd buy the single, but it would be like, 10 Australian dollars for a single, whereas the album would be maybe 30. So you'd go, oh, okay, cool. Well, obviously I want more songs for the money, right? But now, as you're saying, it is, people's attention spans are shorter. And so if you can drip feed them a little bit over 12 months, right, it's far better than giving them one little chunk once a year. And so I'm finding the same thing too. It's the same even with my podcast, right? Like I could put out 5 reels on the one day, but of course, they don't get the same attention I do. 5 over 2 weeks. And it is the way of the world now, because you're right. All the algorithms, like all these companies are valuing consistency over they're valuing consistency over the overall output, right? So yeah, no, I think you're doing absolutely the right thing. Like putting out the singles on a regular basis is the way that everyone's doing it now.
I remember a time when artists would release the 12-song albums, and it is a good time. Kind of miss that time too, because right now we kind of, as musicians, we kind of like rush. We like try to choose sometimes something what will be easy to promote on social media, rather something what we really want to do. And I'm trying to find the good balance, like of something what it will be easy to sell, I mean like promote, right? And something what I really want to do. And unfortunately, like right now I'm thinking more like a manager, because I'm my own manager, my own musician, my own like booking agent, and I try to be like think about my music as a business. But in the past, when I was younger, I was in the rock band, badass rock singer. We were not thinking about this. We were just creating songs. And when you do the album, it is like artwork. It has intro, it has beginning, like middle, and
flow,
right, and then outro, and it's like whole thing. Do you remember Linkin Park's albums? Like first,
yes,
Meteora. Oh my god, it was like piece of art. But now, as an independent artist, you pay so much money for each release. Even if you release on your own, if you are like Charlie Puth, doing everything on your own, still promotion costs money. Yes, if you are not promoting through advertisements, paid advertisements. You introduce yourself, you talk about this, you collaborate with other TikTokers. Everything is money or time, or money and time. So album is so expensive, and single is easy. At least you're not gonna burn out in the middle of it,
Exactly.
You just did it, let it go next. And for example, whenever I released single, I really put a lot of work to promote it. So let's say I just wrote great song. Then it's another 2 weeks to do good production. There's recording, then mixing, then mastering, right? And finally, we have this track, then artwork, right? And you're like, okay, now I have single in my hand. What I do? So I choose the release date. And 5 weeks before that release, I create a lot of TikToks, reels, shorts, posts talking about this, making some fun dancing videos, involving my family, my friends. And then finally, song is released. And you get like, let's say, first day, you got lucky and you get like 500 streams, right? You got that? Amazing, good. But next step is you need to pitch your song into different playlists. And you need to make sure it's not fake playlists. It's like legit people. It's all research. It's Submit Hub. It's money here, money there. $1, $2, $3, $100. Sometimes you film reels and then you start Instagram promotions, right? And after all, it comes out like $2,000 for one single. And you're like, okay, I was working for this.
That's a lot of streams. Yeah,
I was working for this like 2 months. So one song within 2 months, it's a good achievement. So yeah.
I totally sympathize with you there, because the first couple of releases I did as an electronic duo with Emma Williams, it was called Suburbia.
Yeah.
I sank a whole lot of money into the, mixing, mastering, production side of things, but I spent nothing on the advertising and the promotion budget. And of course, you get a couple of hundred streams, but it's certainly not enough to break even on the production costs. And so now I'm with my future releases, I'm like, wow, whatever money you spend on mixing and mastering, you should put aside at least that much for promotion.
Exactly.
Otherwise, because there are so many people that are now out there making their independent music, right? You've got to somehow get heard above them.
Exactly. And as you said, consumer is very spoiled. My husband says I watch TikTok like insane person. It's like I lose interest so quickly because I'm so spoiled. I have so many interesting videos coming up. I know that if I watch this and it's not interesting enough, there is another video which is better. And algorithms are so tricky. They know what I want even better than I know. So yeah, you should be very careful what you are putting out there, right? And at the same time, you don't need to overthink. You don't need to go crazy. You just need to keep going, right? So advertisement money is very important because there are so many amazing people in the world, and you have to stand out And sometimes it's advertising, sometimes it's network, sometimes it's you being like super creative. So thank God we have social media now. So we can actually don't really rely on record labels, which is good. Like if you get the good record deal, this is good. It's amazing. You're a superstar, right? But at the same time, there are so many record deals which are not good enough to sign. There are some record deals who are gonna destroy your life. You should be very careful what you're like. Read the contract, right? And now, if you are not sure, so for example, myself as an independent artist, right now I'm not at the stage when I have this. When I would say, "Oh, I found my style," I didn't find my style yet, but I feel I'm very close. A little bit, like maybe another year of like 4 or 5 singles, and I will get my destination music-wise, right? At the same time, I'm building my audience. And I would say in 1 year, I will have, let's say, 100,000 people who love my music, right? And then at that place, record label, the record deal, which I probably could consider, would have good, good...
conditions?
Conditions
terms?
and terms.
Yeah.
Right now, everything what I possibly could get, most likely I would love to decline because it's not very profitable, and also like people would not like to invest to you if you don't know yourself who you are and what you do, right? So it's good to have social media so you can experiment, build your audience, connect with people, with other artists, collaborate, and learn about yourself as an artist. And you already have audience.
I think that's the way you've got to do it now, because if you are coming in as a complete unknown, like for example, if you look at The Voice or American Idol or something like that, right, where these people are launched into stardom, right, their contracts are really strict, like they can't perform for anyone else. They've got to have everything authorized. Whereas if you have already got a following and you bring that, and the record, even if the record label is approaching you, right, that means you've got some negotiation power. You can say, nope, I want a different split to this. When it comes to, like, the classic thing is merchandise too. Some record labels will be like, we're going to take, all the profits of your merch. Whereas if you are independent, you can say, hey, look, the merch, I sell a T-shirt, right, for $35. That's the equivalent of 5,000 streams, you know what I mean? It's too much to give away. So True. I think your strategy is absolutely bang on for the modern times.
I want to make it clear. I'm not against record labels. No. I actually would love to get a good record deal, but not right now, because right now, to be realistic, everything what I will get, it will be small record labels who cannot really offer anything. All they do actually what small record labels do is they offer you distribution deals.
Yes.
Why would I give my royalties to the record label for distribution services when I can just subscribe for DistroKid for $30, unlimited upload, and work with that, right? And what I'm trying to say is that it's good as an independent artist to be present on social media and work as a booking agent and manager, everything. Because when you grow in a certain level, record label will treat you also differently. There are people working there, right? So when you know your job and they know their job, you kind of know how much actually they do for you. Like that record deal, which interesting for artists, like when they are connecting you with their network. That's different.
That's what you're buying, isn't it?
This is what you're buying. That's worth of giving away royalties and some copyrights and everything, right? Because you know that the level of exposure they're going to make for you, it's worth it.
That's what you're buying, isn't it? Like when you are touring overseas, it's like, yep, they've organised the venues for you. They've organised the radio
I will
interviews.
be like, please take my money. Just give me that. I'm so tired of working by myself alone. So, yeah.
Whereas the studio deals don't seem so relevant now, because everyone, like it would be, you'd go into $100,000 of debt because you're in the studio for 3 weeks at $1,000 a day, or $10,000 a day.
That's a waste.
It doesn't seem to be the model anymore. I mean, because, everything I've done, I've either done in a very small studio or in my bedroom. I imagine your work with Nick, you've maybe gone into a studio for it,
Yeah,
but you
his
certainly
own
wouldn't have.
studio. He has a little cute studio in LA. He is such a talented multi-instrumentalist. So I even save money working with him. Like, thank you, Nick, so much. Working with him saved me so much money because he is a drummer. He is a guitar player. He also is such a good creative person. He can actually use like digital instruments to make it sound very good. I don't know. Have you actually heard my latest single called "Like Me Not"?
I had to listen to it. I can't remember exactly it, but
It's
I did have
like
a listen to it.
pop punk, like very 2000s vibe. And
Because your singers are all quite different, yeah.
he did the guitar. He was like, I was like, hey, can we do some fun solo there? I like feel like it's gonna be.
I
so
do remember
cool.
that solo
and
now.
he was
I
like,
liked
he made
it,
such
yeah.
he played in himself, so it was fun.
And you don't hear solos in pop music so much anymore. They've seemed to have gone out of fashion, but I'm glad that you and Nick are bringing them back in.
Oh, so okay. There's the thing. I was a rock singer, and I back then social media was not. It was a thing, but it was not like something so cool, right? It was like, okay, like we have this Facebook and we can talk, but we were like offline pretty famous in our local area.
Yeah.
We were like this very badass underground rock band, and I was so proud of myself. I found my own style. I was like, every time after a concert, I would go down and people like just surround me and they were like, oh my God, it was so good, so good. And I felt like this is my, can I say wave? Like, you know, when you're a surfer, you get
I
like,
describe it the same way. Yeah. Yeah.
But then I converted my beliefs. I was like, okay, I need to become a pop singer, right? And I kind of lost that feeling because I've been rock singer for 10 years and pop singer for like, I don't know, 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's a different level of performances. And now I'm combining my pop skills with my rock skills. Sometimes so I would say I'm going for like pink type style.
What a role model. Yeah.
So what my producer said, like, Alex, pop rock is your thing. And I was like, no, please give me some time to achieve my goals in pop music. And he was like, pop rock is your thing. And I have another friend, he was like, Alex, pop rock. And everybody, pop rock. I was like, oh my God, okay, finally, I will do that.
It's a nice moment when you get to that though, because I mean, because you've got the stems, you can always go and get a remix as you've done in the past as well. So you can do the more electronic stuff.
That's actually one more thing what I wanted to say, especially recommend to my fellow musicians. So I was really worried that if I would make pop rock music, all house concert will be unavailable for me, like because pop rock is like da da da, like very loud, right? And yes, you can do like acoustic covers and go for this little sofa shows, something like that, right? But then there are festivals, right? Different type of festivals, and not everybody. Like if you're taking this little stream of pop rock, you're gonna go there, right? But then remixes is such a great opportunity to actually, I would say, sit with one ass on two chairs. So when you have let's say EDM or like techno remixes, you can actually apply for festivals like electronic music festivals, which are amazing. At the same time, you can stay in pop or rock scene. So it is a very good trick to go to different directions at the same time. And you liked my remix Still Care For You, right? It has 16,000 streams because that remix got into EDM or house playlists. And it got so many streams because of that. So,
Oh, it's a banger, as we say in Australia.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, yeah, because even if you do build your career doing pop rock and that sort of style, right, you can always do a feature on someone else's record, you know, like Sia did a feature with, not Tiesto, with, I can't remember which one, but Titanium, like, Guetta, yeah. Imagine if you had a Guetta feature. Yeah.
He's like a shark of that industry. Like, oh my God. Yeah, amazing. I love it. Yeah, and collaborations also help you to exchange the audience, which is amazing. Like, for example, you and I, we both speak English right now, right? But you are in Australia and I live in California. And some people from California will know your blog and some people from Australia will know me because of your podcast. So it's very like we are in similar industries.
Everybody wins, yeah.
very cool.
It is so nice. And I mean, like when I was listening to your back catalogue too, I can see that you have spent a lot of time developing your voice, right? When I listen to your songs, there are bits of falsetto, there are bits of belt, there are bits of thin fold. It's not you're not painting these pictures with the one brush. You're doing all sorts of different techniques, and I'm just a big fan. Like, how long have you been studying singing for?
So I started performing since I was 15, and right now I'm 36 this year.
Yep.
And I think for this amount of years, I could actually be much better than I am right now.
Oh, everyone thinks that. Yeah.
But within those actually years, I had 2 children, and there were time when I quit music for like 2-3 years, and like I would say, I'm still learning and trying to find my own way of perform. But actually what I've found so far, I have this scratchy high notes.
Yes,
like
yep.
So there's a chest voice and head voice,
Yes,
and there are transition notes. And
Yes.
transition notes normally
bridge.
Everybody sings on mixed tone, and this is what I do too, right? But what I've learned that on those transition notes, you can actually do this screaming technique, like Chester Bennington.
I saw a video.
Yeah. And that's screaming.
almost like when your voice cracks like
scratchy.
that.
Yeah. It comes on those transitional notes. So I started putting those effects into my pop music, and it sounded pretty fun.
People love it.
Yes,
Yeah.
Pink. She does this
Yep.
on her songs, and it is not as common, right? So you kind of already, when you do that, you kind of already become more memorable, right? I love this Australian singer, Tone and I.
Oh,
Dance
yes.
for me,
She's
dance
got
for
that
me.
really twangy voice. Yeah.
She has a very interesting tone. And
Very much so.
oh my God, you will never forget her. This is amazing, right? Some people would hate it, some people would like it, but it is so memorable.
Very successful.
Yes. Oh my God, amazing. So I actually, that song suits my voice very well.
Yeah.
I can scratch it, like I can use the screaming technique on those courses very well.
Yeah.
So I'm on my way. I would say there are a few things what I would like achieve as a singer from the technique perspective. I would like to get more stronger belting voice.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on those high notes like, Adele.
Whitney
and
Houston. Yeah.
Whitney Houston, yeah. There are some songs which I actually sound very well, and some songs still need to work on. And another thing, I really would like to learn how to do this all complicated riffs and runs.
Like Beyonce. Yeah. That vocal agility. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would feel very proud of myself.
I think you should already feel proud of
I
yourself.
don't know. Thank you.
So you've got some great influences there. Who else do you think of when you are feeling inspired?
Well,
making
Lady
your
Gaga
music?
is my favorite artist. I love her. Whitney Houston. When I try to find my own way to be present on stage as an artist, but I always feel very close to Lady Gaga for some reason. I don't know. I like her attitude. She's at the same time, she's very musical and such a badass, and she has some character which I found relatable, and I like it about her. And she's very honest. So I would say Lady Gaga is my main influencer.
Influence, yeah.
Influence, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think she's a huge influence throughout the world, isn't she? I mean, she was the sound of pop music in the early 2000s, right? There was so many people taking a lot of inspiration from her, and I think not only is her singing's exceptional, right? And the productions are really good, but she's also got that social consciousness as well. And I mean, I assume you've seen A Star Is Born. She was really good in that as well.
Great acting skills.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
She stands for a lot of cool things, she supports LGBTQ community, which is nice. Yeah. She is helping kids, and she's trying to stay honest. I think she did a great impact for music. And we are not talking about pop music and we're talking about rock music, I love Linkin Park so much. Oh my God. Sometimes I drive the car and listen to this Meteor album, and I was like, oh my God, this is a piece of art.
It's so sad Chester died. How long ago did Chester die?
I think I think 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, that was a real shock.
I think a lot of pressure. He had a lot of pressure, I guess. I never had a chance to see them live, unfortunately. I've been to other shows. Surprisingly, Papa Roach. I love Papa Roach. Of course, Papa Roach is not as...
Last Resort, yeah.
I love Papa, but not as much as I love Linkin Park. But Papa Roach is amazing. I've been 3 times on Papa Roach show.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, my word. Such a great show. Amazing live concert. What's his name? I forgot the...
I can't remember his name either, yeah.
I remembered. System of a Down. I love System
that was exactly who I was going to talk about next.
You know they're Armenians?
I did hear that they're Armenians, yeah, because they talk about the genocide, don't they?
They're kind of they're representing Armenian in America. And when I was recording my single with Nick, he was like, hey, Alex, do you know that System of a Down was just right, like close to that studio. They were recording there. I was like, oh my God,
that would have been so exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess, because you're in California, right? Like you are within arm's reach of all these amazing artists and there's history in the walls.
Yeah, like Red Hot Chili Peppers and everything. So like I was like, oh my God, just unbelievable. Also, funny thing, the tech industry is so well developed there. As an art performer, I sometimes perform for them. For example, last year I was pregnant. I have 6-month-old baby, and I was 8 months pregnant. I performed for Facebook corporate party.
Yes, yep.
And I was very thankful because like it's very diverse. They are trying to involve different type of people in their company, and they hired pregnant singer. It was amazing because like sometimes when you go to maternity leave especially as an independent artist, you lose so much opportunities. Then you start from the blank space, and I have 2 children. I already started from blank space second time. It's tiring. And it was amazing that Facebook hired me on 8 months of pregnancy to perform for them. And I work with different type of musicians, and I'm so happy to have all these people around me. And we are like very diverse band, and it was cool. It was amazing. I love to perform for Facebook. Recently, I've been to Airbnb too, not as a performer though, but I was there as a super host. But I was like, guys, we have a band, so if you need a band for your corporate
Here's
party,
my Instagram,
I was like, this is my business card.
Because that's amazing because you've got all those opportunities there. I guess, the next question is where are you going to take it next? I mean, have you got a new single in the pipeline by the sound of it?
So, on August 4th, I already scheduled the next songwriting session with my co-writers, and we're going to start working on a new single. I don't know yet what it's going to be about. I have several sketches on my notebook, different topics I would like to talk. And we'll see. I will show my references to them and see how it goes. I normally love writing songs with improvisation.
Yes. Yeah.
Improvisation is my go-to trick. So we'll see how it goes, and then I will just choose the topic which is suitable for the type of music. So yeah.
That's exciting. Lots of potential. And I assume you've got some gigs that you're going to be planning on. Are you performing while you're in Australia, or are you just doing
I would
some
love
sightseeing?
to. I would love to, but we are staying such a short period of time each city. It's not enough time to connect. But tomorrow I go to visit my friend. She's performing in the hotel in Melbourne, and I'm going to meet some musicians there, and we'll see. Maybe we can jam. But I don't perform in Australia yet, but that would be cool to come back with a tour next time, huh?
Well, I imagine, if you've got 2 kids, they must be seeing grandma and grandpa in Brisbane. So is that going to be the case? Like with your husband, do you visit his family in Brisbane? Or
we're going to visit his relatives and his friends, and I have some friends in Australia too, because I lived in China for 5 years, right? And I have so many musicians immigrated from China during COVID to Australia.
Of course, yeah.
So because China really was on the lockdown so
they were
much
welding
time.
doors shut, and whole cities were.
It was crazy. I was there when outbreak happened.
Wow, yeah. That's crazy, yeah.
Insane, just unbelievable. So I meet in Australia my friends. I worked with them in China.
So it's like, hey, you escaped,
I had a dinner day before yesterday with my friend. We had she was my a cappella band member. So we had a cappella band in China,
Yep.
and she was alto 1, and I was alto 2.
I would have picked you as a soprano.
No. I have a low voice.
Fantastic. So, okay, well, look, it sounds like this probably won't be your last trip to Australia. And so hopefully next time we see you, we'll have some gigs and some new singles to talk about, and it'll be really good.
For sure. For now, I have gigs scheduled and concerts scheduled in San Francisco, but I would love to come here to perform in Melbourne, in Sydney. That would be like so cool.
I'm sure it'll happen. Well, we'll wrap it up there. How do people find you on the internet? Where's the best place to find you? On Instagram?
I am on all social media platforms. The most active, I stay on Instagram stories. So if you guys want to find me, come to my Instagram. It is 2 words, Alexandra. Alexandra dash. Is this dash lower?
Underscore.
I'm sorry. So it's Alexandra_music.
Fantastic. Well, when we put out the reels, we'll collaborate with you as well, so that should be pretty easy to find you. Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.